figuring stuff out. Okay, we've had a good conversation here about Greenland, about Venezuela. Let's come back to the United States. The Pentagon is putting 1,500 troops on standby for a potential deployment to Minnesota after an ICE agent killed unarmed, nonviolent mother of three, Renee Good. You've said her death reminds you of January 6th. What do you mean by that?
In this sense, first of all, what ICE is doing under Trump, this is Trump's directive. They have invaded the city of Minneapolis. Their goal is to intimidate every person in this country, that if you stand up, you are in trouble because the military is coming. All right? And I got to tell you, this is repellent to the vast majority of the American people. Now, in terms of authoritarianism, also, it's all of the things that I mentioned, but it is also propagating the big lie. All right? So you say black and it's white, you say white and it's black. So for January 6th, we had a radical group of insurrectionists trying to destroy democracy and undermine a free election, right? That's what they did. Trump turns that around and says, these were peaceful demonstrators. And now you have a woman, a mother of three, sitting in an automobile, shot in the head by an ICE agent, and the Trump people label her a domestic terrorist. So it is the big lie that we hear over and over again, which is part of authoritarianism. What I believe, you believe, I think the vast majority of the American people believe is, look, in a democracy, we're going to have differences of opinion. You know what? That's a good thing. But these differences have got to be based on a foundation of truth and not constant lies. And that is what the Trump people do.
And a basic sense of the dignity of human life.
Right.
What gets me when I look at some of the response, when Kristi Noem had on her podium, when she was talking about this, it says, one of ours, all of yours, was what it said on her podium. I don't even know sure how to parse that, meaning one of ours, all of yours, that's the federal government saying that the people of America who may be protesting or not are the enemies of the federal government. Yep. Stephen Miller said local state officials have to stand down and surrender to the federal government. I don't even know how you would do that. So that is essentially saying set aside all the rights of the people.
Free assembly of the United States.
Yeah, free assembly, freedom of speech, redress of grievances, or for that matter, keep and bear arms, which is the Second Amendment. All of those things. And if rights can be set aside because the government tells you to do so, then they're not rights.
That's right.
Then there were privileges that are just given occasionally by a government that does not derive its power from the consent of the governed. That's just rule by force. That's the threat of violence from our own federal government. That seems transparent, what's happening right now. Do your colleagues on the other side of the aisle perceive that danger domestically as opposed to internationally, as we talked about before?
Again, this is where the issue is extraordinarily partisan. I'm an independent. I caucus with the Democrats. I think overwhelmingly the Democrats do. And there are more and more Republicans who understand that as well. Not only because they see the blatant unconstitutionality of what is going on, but they are understanding that the American people are sick and tired of that. And the good part.
Okay, this is a red letter day for you. Here you are administering the oath of office to Mayor Mamdani. And I guess you've been fighting, you've been carrying the banner of Democratic Socialists for a long time. What was that like to swear in the first Democratic Socialist mayor of a major city?
It was enormously gratifying.
In a recent poll, a recent Gallup poll, 66% of Democrats had a favorable view of democratic socialism, up significantly over the last year. Why do you think that is?
Well, let me tell you why I love Mamdani. When he started his campaign, it's not only he's really obviously smart, incredibly energetic, really good with people, a really good politician. Cute. All right. He started at 1% in the polls. 1%. He was taking on the Democratic establishment, Republican establishment, President of the United States, and all the oligarchs who threatened to spend zillions of dollars to defeat him. He took them all on, and he won. And he won not just because he is good, which he is, but because he had 90,000 volunteers in New York City knocking on doors. So what excited me, and I think he's going to be a great mayor, and I look forward to working with him, but what excited me was a strong grassroots movement took on the establishment and won. They did it in New York City. We could do it in every state in this country.
Well, Bernie, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Senator Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders, everybody. We'll be right back with a performance by Lucinda Williams.